What's going on YouTube? JT Jaborn here, and welcome to another edition of After the Movie. Currently in my house right now, sitting down here in my nice comfy cozy chair, and last night I began binge watching all the Conjuring films in the Conjuring universe in preparation for today when I go see Annabelle Comes Home. So, upon looking through the videos I've done on my channel, I realized I never did an After the Movie on the first Annabelle or Conjuring 2, so I figured I'd rectify that and start today with this one, then we'll do another video on this one, and then we'll go talk about Annabelle Comes Home tonight when that comes out. So, yes, the Conjuring universe. Kind of crazy to think about that we have a shared cinematic universe of horror films. One that for the most part, I pretty much enjoy. I look forward to these movies. It's pretty much the only, like, consistent horror franchise that's out right now. I mean, we live in a day and an age where we don't get, like, your Friday the 13th every year, your Halloweens every year, although we didn't get Halloween 2018 last year, which was nice. This is the only horror franchise that keeps coming out, and I hope they keep making more, because I look forward to seeing this horror cinematic universe evolve and expand over the course of several films. Earlier this year, they did The Curse of La Llorona, which, you know, I thought was decent. It wasn't, like, a terrible movie. It wasn't anything all that special. I thought it was fine. You know, it doesn't really do too much. Wasn't as scary as I would have hoped. I am kind of hesitant that this director is going to be making Conjuring 3 instead of James Wan, but, you know, you can only do so much. But anyways, we're going to be talking about the first Annabelle movie today, and then we'll do a Conjuring 2 video, which, when I talk about Conjuring 2, I have a freaky story. When I was watching that one last night, it was like 1, 2 in the morning. I'm in here watching it. You know, it's a creepy movie. You know, you get your blanket, you get all curled up, you get, you know, you're all alone. You're watching this stuff down here in the dark. And, during The Conjuring 2, a bunch of stuff got knocked over all around the basement simultaneously. It was really freaky. Stuff fell over under the stairs, stuff fell over there, and then stuff fell over here. I was like, okay, fuck this, I'm done. I literally went upstairs and I'm like, okay, no more movies tonight. It was so freaky. The ground didn't shake or anything. Nothing else just seemingly fell over. There was no earthquakes or anything. A bunch of shit just started falling over, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave now, and I'm gonna go where it's safe. I've seen, you know, I've been watching these horror movies all freaking day. It's not good to be down there in the dark, so that's kind of what happened. But anyways, we're gonna be talking about the first Annabelle film. Now, I never really have been. Now, I really like Conjuring 1. Not really too big a huge fan of the first Annabelle movie. Upon watching it again, like giving it a second chance today, because I haven't seen it in a couple of years, it's not as bad as I remember. Like, there's nothing inherently scary about it. Like, it's just mediocre. It's just so-so. It's not really as bad going in, giving it a second chance as it was when I first saw it. It's definitely a huge drop below the quality of the first Conjuring film. But, you know, the main actors are okay. They're not all that memorable of characters. The Annabelle doll is just kind of there. Just, it has some creepy aspects to it. We would follow up on that with a much better Annabelle creation. But Annabelle 1, I think, is just alright, just an okay movie. It ties back into the events of the first film. Like, the Annabelle doll itself is kind of a horror icon at this point. It's just a creepy-ass looking porcelain doll. I mean, just look at that thing. Does that thing not give you the creeps a little bit? I don't know. Dolls are kind of creepy as it is. But, yeah, other characters in there. You have the priest who actually showed back up in Curse of La Llorona. We have these characters of John and Mia, who are okay. They don't really do too much. Like, the scares, the problem with this movie is the scares aren't really there. There's one moment that is actually kind of creepy, and that's when Mia is on the stairs, and you look down, you see, like, this demon thing just kind of staring back at her. Doesn't really do anything, doesn't really jump. It's just kind of the stare down. That's the most intense scene in the whole movie. But it just isn't scary. Like, the scares aren't there. You get some tedious jump scares that come in. The director of this film, I don't recall their name at the... Okay, let's see. John R. Leonetti. He's not really the best director. I think I've seen this, and I think there was another movie he did. But it's kind of the same thing. Just, you know, lazy jump scares. Nothing really built up tension-wise to, like, where those jump scares are, you know, a good, memorable payoff. Like, when James Wan does a scene, like, you really feel the intensity of it. Like, I always go back to that scene in Conjuring 2. I think that's one of the scariest scenes in movie history, especially when I first saw it. It's cool, it's creative. When Valak is walking around the room, you see the painting, and, like, she's turning on the light, and she's turning it on and off. You see the painting's eyes kind of change at that. That, to me, is genuinely creepy. And for some reason, that no other director seems to come close to James Wan in terms of crafting quality scares today. in today's day and age. I can't find anybody who comes close. Like, David F. Sandberg did a good job with Annabelle creation and Lights Out. Like, he came pretty close to James Wan. Not quite at that level, but then again, James Wan has been doing this for a long time. I mean, you go back to some of his earlier work versus now, like Insidious. He improved. He went from Insidious, which, you know, when I first saw it, Insidious freaked me out. Now it's like, it's kind of nothing, but the first time you see it, it's definitely like a freaky movie. But he went from that, and then he did the jump to The Conjuring, and, you know, he did even better with that one than Insidious. And then he did, you know, Insidious 2, which isn't as good as the first one, obviously. And then he went into The Conjuring 2, which is my favorite in this entire universe. I think what makes that one work the best are the Warrens themselves. They're just so likable. They're just really likable characters. They're kind of these superheroes of this universe. So when they show up, it's generally a good sign that the movie's going to be pretty good. So that's what makes me excited about Annabelle Comes Home, is the Warrens are back. The Warrens are the stars of this universe. They are the best thing in this universe. Then, you know, you got your Annabelle dolls and your Valak creepy-ass nun who even just kind of staring at it, I'm like, ooh, you just give me the heebie-jeebies. So, but yeah, the scares just aren't there. The characters in this one, they're not awful. There's no real bad acting, I should say. It's just kind of okay at best. Like, giving it a second chance, nothing really got me. It tied in The Conjuring just fine, but as the first spin-off in the Conjuring universe, it kind of made me nervous going forward. Like when I initially saw this one a few years ago, thinking, I don't know, oh god, here comes the spin-off. It's just not clicking quite as well. But the first Conjuring is still great. Annabelle, this is still the weakest entry in the Conjuring franchise. Like I said, it's not as inherently awful as I used to think it was upon rewatching, and I'm like, you know what? Watching this thing alone in the dark with spooky stuff happening, it definitely heightens the movie a bit. But I'm watching this like just kind of as is right now with the lights on and all that. There's no effectiveness to it all. You have to kind of be in the right mood and really kind of set yourself in a fearful environment in order to get really anything out of it. But I just didn't think it was all that grand. The Priest was good. It was cool to see him back in La Llorona, but this is a pretty forgettable movie. Like, even after watching it again, I just kind of like, oh, I completely forget what happens in this thing. Does so-and-so do this, or does so-and-so do that? But yeah, it's cool to see that we got a spin-off, I guess, of The Conjuring. I like that we have a shared universe of horror films. I'm kind of disappointed in the marketing for La Llorona. I think that movie would have done a lot better had they been like, oh yeah, this is a part of the Conjuring universe. Would have sold people on the movie more, because because there was that confusion going into it. Like, is this a Conjuring film? Is this not a Conjuring film? Oh yeah, it's a Conjuring film. Why don't you market it as that? I don't know. I'm getting off topic, but anyways, first Annabelle, just kind of okay, just a so-so, mediocre, average, run-of-the-mill, meh horror film. Like, it's got some decent acting. It's no one who's inherently awful, but it just doesn't do it for me. The scares just aren't there. And why do you want to see a horror movie? To really be scared. And it doesn't have the characters that The Conjuring has. So, yeah. Alright, well, that's going to wrap it up for my thoughts on the first Annabelle movie. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below. What do you think of the first Annabelle movie? So, yep. Alright. On to Conjuring 2, my favorite. Peace.